Yo, ladies and gents, how are we doing? And today on the channel, I'm going to be talking about the keys to fat loss. I'm going to be talking and delving into the principles of fat loss, the strategies that I have used myself and I've used with clients to get great results, and also the tactics, okay? The day-to-day little things that you can do that can make the whole experience of fat loss easier and, I'm not going to stretch it and say pleasurable, but less suffering. Because let's face it, fat loss is giving yourself a little bit of suffering, okay? If you're in a place where you want to lose fat, I don't know why you want to do it. Maybe you want to improve the confidence in your clothes, the confidence outside of clothes, to improve your health, okay? There's multiple reasons why you might want to lose fat, and I'm going to discuss in this short video, okay, so stick with me, exactly what things you have to get in place to have fat loss, okay? And I'll explain a little bit of the reasons why. So, stick with me. Yo, you absolutely glorious human being. Thank you very much for checking out my YouTube channel and checking out this video. Now, if you could be even more awesome and hit the subscribe and hit the notification bell, that would be much appreciated and help me on my little journey of building this YouTube channel. Hopefully this video is helpful. Catch you later. So when it comes to the principles of fat loss, okay, what is the underlying foundational principle that has to happen for fat loss to occur? Well, it's creating a calorie deficit. You might have heard of this before. What does this terminology mean? Like, what is a calorie deficit? It simply means that you are consuming less calories, less energy than you burn off, okay? Now, this can be done in terms of daily cycles, which is most common. It can be done in weekly cycles, and I don't think anyone does it in terms of monthly cycles. That would just be a bit crazy, right? If you're going to have your calories mapped out for the month. But oftentimes people will start off by mapping out their calories for the day, okay? So they'll think about how many calories does my body burn on the average day, and therefore how many calories should I eat in order to burn the amount of fat that I want to burn off each week. Quick example, if you want to burn off 1 pound per week, we know that 1 pound is roughly 3,500 units, okay, calories that you have to burn off at the end of the week, more than you consume. So you can use a calorie calculator, and I'm going to pop one in the comments. There's loads of them. My personal favourite is using something like MyFitnessPal and put all your different details in there. So when you put 1 pound loss, it's going to work out a way how many calories you should consume based on your activity to have a deficit, okay? So at the end of the week, you're 3,500 calories less than your body actually requires to do its daily functioning, okay? To do its daily functioning plus the activity that you put in for it, sorry. So that leads to 1 pound loss, all right? If you want to increase that rate, then you increase the deficit. There has to be less calories burned than, more calories burned, than you consume. Easy way to think of it is a bit like, think of it in terms of money, okay? If you have your bank account and you want to have more money in the bank account, okay, so in this case, if you want to put weight on, if you wanted to store more fat, could be muscle if you're working out, then you would have to have a surplus, okay? You'd have to have more money coming into the bank than is going out of the bank. And the opposite, if you want to have less money in the bank, which is probably quite easy for most people, you simply have to spend more money than you earn, all right? And you're going to burn through the cash that's in the bank. Same with your body. If you burn off more than you consume, you're going to burn fat off your body. Cool. So hopefully I have explained this relatively well. So the principle of fat loss is that you must create a calorie deficit over the time period that you want to have the fat come off, and the level of the deficit is going to determine how much fat comes off your body. So, bigger deficit means that you're going to lose more fat. So if you're in 1,000 calorie deficit each day, so you eat 1,000 calories less than you burn off, then you're going to burn more fat than someone who has a 500 calorie deficit per day. Now, this is where we get into strategy, because when it comes to creating a calorie deficit and getting that principle, there are lots of different strategies you can use. Now, the one that I recommend everyone start with is track your calories, track your macros, use something like MyFitnessPal. It makes it so easy. You know, when I first started in fitness in 2008, you had to sort of have a logbook of all the different foods and weigh the foods and work out the calories and macros yourself. Because I didn't know that MyFitnessPal existed, if it did exist at that time, and it definitely wasn't as good as it is now. And so it was very manual, it was really difficult, and that's why a lot of fat loss came down to sort of faddy diets, Slim World, Weight Watchers, all that kind of stuff, because it was just really difficult to give people access to the science of the calories and macros that was inside food. But now it's easy, because you just have the power. My phone's recording it, but this is a screen protector. Pretend this is the phone, right? You have the power in your hands, right, to just track calories by using an app like MyFitnessPal. So, the number one strategy I would ask anyone who's looking for fat loss to apply that principle would be track calories. But there are other strategies, and people use them with varying levels of success. People use things like low fat or ketogenic dieting to reduce the amount of carbs they consume, which then reduces the calories that they consume, and then puts them into a calorie deficit, and they lose weight. Some people just eat healthier, and that might work for them. They just eat more wholesome foods, which are have less calories per gram, if you like, on average, if you compare it to the mainly Western diet of eating lots of processed foods, and that can create a calorie deficit. But the more you move away from tracking calories and macros, the more it becomes guesswork. It's a bit like, if we go back to our banking example, if you didn't, if you didn't use a spreadsheet and work out, or online banking alongside a spreadsheet to work out how much you spend each month, and work out exactly your savings rate, right? You could work out a figure by working all these numbers out, and you could, work out each day what budget you have, or each week what budget you have for each different category in your life, entertainment, all this kind of stuff. You could go into that level of detail, and you'd be able to guarantee your savings rate, and get a guaranteed result at the end of the month of, okay, I've saved £100, £200 or something like that. But you could also just try to have some rules. Okay, I'm only going to eat out, once every fortnight. I am going to cook all my meals through the weekdays from scratch. I'm going to, have one weekend where we don't spend any money and we go and do free activities, right? So there's lots of strategies that you can put in place to get the principle of saving money in the bank. But the best way to do it, the best strategy would be the geeky, right? Sorry if this offends anyone with glasses. I also have to wear glasses now because I'm getting old. So, you can have that geeky version of, getting right into the numbers, and it's the best way of doing it, and I think it's the best way to start, okay? And then you can move back and start to use other strategies that fit for you and your personality type. But initially, get the hard science, get the maths, get the data, and work from there. So, there's that as the main strategy, I think. Track your calories, track your macros. Other strategies that you can employ, I think, are things like looking at the meal frequency. Okay, so how many meals am I going to eat? And by meals, I mean any period of time where you stop to eat. So you can start to say, okay, I'm going to have 3 meals a day, no snacks, or 4 meals a day. 3 of them are kind of normal meals, and 1 is a snack. And so you can start to put things like this in place. You could increase your hydration levels. You could eat more protein. These are all parts of what I would call strategy, okay? Because you're going to be employing them to get the calorie deficit for months and quarters at a time. There's other things you can do on a daily, like tactics. So things like, okay, if you know that you're going out at the weekend and you want to have continued fat loss, then you might say to yourself, okay, I'm going to cut back my calories Monday to Friday so that I have more calories. You can bank them, just like you can bank cash, right? And you could spend more calories for your week at the weekend. That's an example of a tactic, okay? Something you can do on the fly that helps you to keep the principle of fat loss. So hopefully we're getting this understanding, right? So we have the principle, okay, that overarches everything that must be applied to get what we want, which in this case is fat loss. Then we have strategies, which is how are we going to apply that principle on a weekly, monthly, and quarterly basis. And then we have tactics, things on the fly that we can do on a daily basis to make things easier so that you can get fat loss. And in the next videos that I do, I'm going to dive in to more of the specific tactics that can help with fat loss. Because my way of coaching is we understand the principle and then we understand the strategy that we're going to use. Okay, so for most people, track calories, track macros, or we can go into some rule-based nutrition, okay, creating rules to create that calorie deficit and have those rules become the strategy. And then, finally, we can have the thing that everyone likes to know, which is the little sexy tactics that can make your life easier, that can allow you to control hunger, that can allow you to eat out at the weekend, that can allow you to drink alcohol, that can allow you to sort of have the flexibility to do the things that you want to do in your life, but also get results if we are shooting for fat loss, which hopefully you are because you've been listening to this for the last 9 minutes. And if you're not shooting for fat loss, then you're really just here just listening to me dive into the nitty-gritty of fat loss. Anyway, hopefully you found this video helpful. Be good to see you in the next video. Wisdom. Catch you there. Ciao.